Era só mais um Silva que a estrela não brilha. Ele era funkeiro, mas era pai de família. É só mais um Silva que a estrela não brilha. Ele era funkeiro, mas era pai de família. Hello, folks. It's me again, Amanda Enderman, your trusty tour guide in the wonders of the wonderful city, also known as Rio de Janeiro. No, this video is not about 90s music or anything like that. For those of you who don't know it, the song that I just sang the refrain in the introduction of this video was very popular in Brazil in the 1990s. By the way, how do you like my 1990s makeup? I'm almost looking like Fran Fein. Mr. Sheffield, what do you think? Leave it in the comment section below. Did I nail it or did I nail it? But going back, that song that you just heard was very popular here in Brazil in the 1990s. And yes, we did also sing and dance to songs like Spring Love from Stevie B. We also did that, but one of our own is this very one, which is called the Rap do Silva, or Rap of the Silva. And the reason why I started the video with the refrain of this particular song is because on this video I'm going to talk about the history of the most common surname in Brazil, which is Silva. But before I get right onto the theme of the video, I have to remind you that I'm currently offering walking tours through the city of Rio, and all of them are described on my website, which the link will be in the description box below, as well as in the first fixed comment. So all you have to do is click there, text me via WhatsApp, make your reservations, and let's get to know the city of Rio in person, folks! With me, your trusty tour guide, of course. Now, without further ado, let's get right onto the theme of the video. The surname Silva comes from the Latin word Silva, which means jungle. It is very much a name which refers to the place from where the person that has the surname comes from. In fact, a lot of people believe that as far back as colonial times in Brazil, people who arrived here, as well as in other Portuguese colonies, were set apart with surnames referring to the places from where they had come. So if they came from the seaside, they would be called da costa, which translates to from the coast or of the coast, or they would be named Silva, which, as I said before, translates to of the jungle or of the interior of the country. But actually, the surname Silva is far older than that, believe it or not. In fact, I was even shocked as I was researching for this video to find that the very first register of this name comes from General Lucius Flavius Silva.
That sounds Roman.
It comes from ancient Rome, and this particular general was very famous for commanding the Roman troops who cornered the Jewish rebels in the fortress of Massada, whose ruins exist to this day in Israel. And for those of you who don't know, it was a rebellion which led to the deaths of all of the Jews who resisted to their deaths in this fortress. So it was very much a story of resisting until the last man, refusing to surrender, and all of that. This name disappeared with the fall of the Roman Empire, and for some mysterious reason, it resurfaced in the Iberian Peninsula, of all places, in the 11th and 12th centuries among the kings of Leon.
Leon? Where was that? I've never heard of such a place.
Leon was one of the kingdoms which comprised what further in time would become Spain. And in the specific case of the Kingdom of Leon, it also encompassed the north of Portugal, or what later would be Portugal. Speaking of Portugal, there were nobles in Portugal that had this surname, such as Dom Guterre Alderete da Silva, which served King Henry of Portugal, and which also was together with Dom Fernando I, King of Leon and Count of Castile, when Coimbra was taken back from the Moors in 1040. And he was lord of Alderete and of the Tower of Silva, which was in the Freguesia de Cardal, which is in the region of Valença do Minho in Portugal. So it is most accepted that it was from the designation of this place that Silva first emerges as a surname. And it is for this very reason that in the Palace of Sintra in Portugal, there is a room which is called the Room of Crests, appropriately because the crests were put there by order of King Dom Manuel the Fortunate, if I'm not mistaken. This is the translation of his title in English. In Portuguese, it's O Venturoso. And he had the crests put there around 1484, and each of the crests, which is in the ceiling of this room, represents one of the noble families of Portugal at this time. And among them, of course, is the crest of the Silva family. In fact, when Brazilians go there and they find the crest of their family, they're like,
ooh, so maybe my family was noble. But Amanda, so this was all in Portugal. What is the connection between this name and Brazil? When did this name first come to Brazil?
Very good question. The first nobleman to come to Brazil with this surname was the general governor of Brazil, the first count of São Lourenço, Dom Pedro da Silva, which governed Brazil between 1635 and 1639. But also there is the registry of the very first Silva to establish a family here in Brazil, which was a tailor called Pedro da Silva. As you can see, we have a nobleman and a pauper with the same surname, which is very, very common in Brazil. When you come here, this is something that you will find. You will see a lot of people with this surname Silva, of all the colors of the rainbow, in terms of skin color, of course, and with the same surname Silva. So they are not from the same family, and much less they are not all of noble origins. This is because a lot of people came to Brazil seeking refuge, or even because they were sentenced to banishment from Portugal. And a lot of these who were either seeking refuge or who were banished from Portugal were Portuguese conversos, meaning Jews who came here in order to escape persecution, or who came here being banished by all means. And in order to hide themselves even further, they adopted new surnames in order to, let's say, make it harder for the Inquisition to find them.
The Spanish Inquisition.
And God forbid bring them back. You know, the kinds of things that would happen to them at the time. One of the surnames that they adopted was Silva. If you're gonna adopt a new surname, you know, have a new beginning in your life, better to have the name of a family which is well respected, which has prestige. Leave it in the comment section below if this is the kind of surname you would choose, or if you would choose another one. And also, indigenous people, as well as people of African origins, ended up utilizing this surname as well, though their story, specifically of the African origin Brazilians, was a little bit different. Because you see, the Africans came here at first as slaves. They weren't given surnames. They weren't even considered people, so why give them surnames? But you see, when slavery ended in Brazil, it was a collective new beginning for all of them. So a lot of them ended up adopting the surname of their former masters. And in the case of the families with the surname Silva, as I said before, a lot of them were very wealthy families. So being very wealthy families, they owned a lot of slaves. So it resulted in a lot of ex-slaves having the surname Silva. And not to mention, it's very plausible that slaves that bought their own freedoms and thus were no longer slaves and such would adopt the surnames of their former masters as well, to go with this new beginning in their lives. This concludes this video about the surname Silva, and I hope you liked the video. And if you did like the video, please click that like button. Then right after that, click that subscribe button. But most important of all, share this video with as many people as you possibly can, so that each time more people may know of the wonders of the wonderful city. And as usual in this channel, I'll see you in the next video.